to the Everyday Saint podcast. Today we have Emma, and I'm so excited because I just think that you're a beautiful person, and I've enjoyed talking to you the couple times that we've been able to chat, and I'm excited to get to know you more through this episode, just because I had a couple of my guests be like, Eve, you have to have Emma on this podcast, you have to have her on, and I was like, okay, sounds great. So I'm so excited that you're able to join me today.
Yeah,
so
thank you so much. Thanks, Eve.
Yes, why don't you start out by telling us a little bit about your faith journey?
Yeah, okay. So I was born and raised Catholic. I have a bigger family. I have 5 younger brothers. So, yeah, we all grew up kind of like really into our faith. My dad is a religion teacher. He has been for his entire career. So that's been really awesome, just kind of growing up having those conversations. And yeah, I've like really developed a passion for it, which is why I'm studying theology.
Yeah.
And yeah, so when I was younger, I went to Catholic school up through like 3rd grade. And then after that we moved. And we moved overseas actually. We lived in Luxembourg for 3 years.
Wow.
And that was like a huge uprooting for me. That was really hard because I was 9 when we moved. And yeah, I remember like a lot of emotions in that experience. And I remember being really mad. Like just really, really mad. Like, why do I have to leave my family and my friends and everything that I knew growing up? Because I did have like a very comfortable childhood. And when we moved, yeah, I was very upset, with my parents for moving us. I was upset at God, honestly. And that was really challenging. And I think that maybe like hardened me a little bit moving forward. But while we were there, every Sunday we would go to Mass at this convent. And these sisters and they had an active order, and then within that order they had contemplative as well. So these sisters were like very vibrant, very lively, really awesome. They would have family days like once a month, and we would have formation, and part of me resented going there. Like, part of me was just like, I do not want to be here right now. Like, just so much anger, And then around that time, I just started having like, a lot of difficulties with like my mental health. And we moved back. So we moved back, and I went into 7th grade out of public school. And that was a very different experience for me. But I'm really lucky. We have like a pretty conservative community back home. So it wasn't a public school like you hear about typically. So that was a blessing. But I will say I only had 2 practicing Catholic friends.
Wow.
And that was all the way up through high school. So that was really hard because my parish that we went to didn't have like a huge community like within the youth. And so I wasn't really being formed by my peers. I was being formed by my dad still, by my mom, by their example, and then just through like attending Mass. So I ended up going to the student youth conferences a few times, and I had pretty profound experiences there. And I think during your spiritual journey, like something that I've learned is there's different seasons for like different ways of worship and different types of prayer and that kind of thing. So at this time, I think the conferences were kind of something that I needed to like get me jump-started back into my faith. Not that I had lost my faith, but there still was kind of that separation from God that I had due to like the resentment from moving and just, everything that came with that. So, so these conferences were a huge experience in my life. And then I came back, and I just had like this fire to like go to adoration all the time. And that's one thing that I actually really love about my parish at home is we have like a perpetual adoration chapel. And there's like a code to get in, but yeah, you can just go and pray. And a lot of the time there's not many people there, so it's kind of nice, just to be able to go. And like there were so many times throughout high school I just went because I didn't know what else to do, so I would go there a lot, and that was kind of like how I started opening my heart back up to like a really intense like relationship with God, and an intentional one too. So from there, I think it was my senior year, we were looking at colleges, and that was a big looming question.
Oh my
I was
gosh,
like,
yeah.
I don't know what to do with my future, you know, I don't know what I want to do or what I want to be. I know I want to be home for sure, and I'm from Ohio. And then my dad found out about Benedictine and was like, hey, maybe we should check this out. And I was like, Dad, that's a 13-hour drive. Like, I don't really want to go there. You know?
Especially with, like, Steubenville
Exactly.
is in Ohio.
Yeah, so, like, Franciscan, people always ask me, why are you at Franciscan? It's so much closer. They didn't have an art program, first of all, so I'm studying theology and art, and that was, like, that was a for sure. I knew I wanted to continue doing that. Continue like practicing art, and just I have a natural gift there, and I really wanted to like nurture that more, which wouldn't be possible at Franciscan. And then we came here, and I was just so like, you know, yeah, I don't care, I don't really want to go there and everything. As soon as I got here, I was like, I just felt something like move my heart, you know, and I kind of knew, like, I need to come here. And I did not tell my parents that for like another month at least. I was
Stubborn,
like,
right?
yeah, I was like, I'm not telling them that. And when I did tell them, they just kind of smiled, and like they had known, you know, that I would end up coming here. But it was hard. I mean, it's hard being away from home again, especially because of that experience of going abroad, and just wanting so desperately to be home the whole time. But being at Benedictine has been like extremely fruitful. My first semester here, freshman year, I was having a great time, you know. I made lots of friends, and was getting involved with stuff, going to like a million RA programs, which I didn't even understand what an RA was at the time, and like now I am one, and so that's been like really awesome too. But yeah, I remember we went to this talk, like me and a couple friends went to this talk, and they talked about how they're like the sacraments are so accessible on this campus, and they were like, if you're not using that, then something needs to change in your life. You need to be exercising that part of your spiritual life. And that kind of hit me, and I was like, oh my gosh, you're right, like I have not been using that, like taking advantage of it. So that second semester, oh my gosh, I think there were maybe like 3 days where I missed daily mass. Like,
wow.
It was so different, like radically different from how I had lived like prior to that. And I have never been so like filled in my life. And that has like also been really hard because just due to becoming an RA, and like school is getting harder, you know, and just heavier workload, it's just harder to like make time for that. But I think there were a lot of graces that semester, like spring semester, freshman year, so many graces that came that like allowed me to like go to daily mass, go to adoration, and you know, just like use the sacraments a lot. And now, you know, I'm in another point of my spiritual life, in my prayer life, where there have been a lot of trials, especially this year, and I just keep being reminded that, like, you know, you need to have trust that not everything is up to you, you know, not everything is controlled by you, and you need to be, like, dependent, you know, on God and on his plan for your life, and on his strength too, and realize that it's not like his love for you isn't even measured by like your performance, you know. And I'm reminded of that a lot recently. So
yeah, there's so many things that I want to like pick your brain on. Just
good.
But I mean, one thing that's really on like my heart right now with what you were just saying is like, one, I want to hear about like the experience of having that time for prayer, and like how different that was from first semester to second semester, but also like in what you're going through maybe now, or what you've noticed in prayer. I think it's so interesting because it's hard to get out of the mentality that like God's not giving you a report card at the end of the